talk about Saleh.
Let's talk about Saleh.
He's really doing a fantastic job this year.
Yes.
You could even argue last year that he was overrated, that he got credit that maybe should have gone to Nick Bosa or something. But this year he doesn't have Nick Bosa. He doesn't have DeForest Buckner or Dee Ford. And the defense, I don't know what it's ranked. I mean, it must be ranked pretty high right now. And it just basically carried the Niners to a season-saving victory on Sunday Night Football at home against a division rival. I'm more of a Saleh guy than you, but I'm always like the contrary dude trying to balance out what the fans feel because I feel like they dump too hard on him. Maybe I'm trying to balance it. But so you're more of like Kyle's a star. Saleh's had things. Saleh's had better players. After seeing, I don't know, the first 6 games, what's your reassessment of Robert Saleh?
He's been terrific. I mean, the argument that you made that people would have made last year, I would have been one of those people that would have said, well, yeah, he's pretty good, but he's a little overrated in my opinion. Let's not totally change what we think of him going from, well, he should have been fired to now he's the best defensive coordinator in football just because they got Nick Bosa and Dee Ford.
Right.
Right. And he did do a lot more things schematically. There were things there that you can't just like act like they didn't happen. They weren't just, he was no longer just, hey, go out there and play cover 3 and all of that.
That's rush 4.
Not, right.
And rush
that's
4
not anymore. It's not. No. And he has improved a lot. What he's doing this year is just phenomenal. Outside of maybe giving Brian Allen help somehow or not playing Brian Allen, there's not really much to criticize with what he's doing. He's got his guys playing hard. He's got his guys playing tough. They're playing a lot more aggressive man coverage with Jason Verrett, who's looking awesome. And now with Mosley back, it's really awesome to see that he's adjusting to the talent and the amount of injuries he has. And what he's doing is amazing.
I mean, you could argue that, like, with the exception of the first half against the Dolphins with Brian Allen on the field, the practice squad corner, that's 2 quarters. And then there was 1 quarter against the Cardinals where things got out of hand, right? They basically played good defense for 3 quarters against the Cardinals. So for the exception of 3 quarters this season, defense has been lights out. And with those quarters in the picture, they're still ranked 5th in yards allowed. That's amazing that they can pull that off, that Saleh can pull that off with Kerry Hyder, Deion Jordan, and Azeez Al-Shaair, and Dante Johnson. I mean, what's interesting is last year we saw Saleh. People who didn't really watch tape kind of just assumed, well, man, he's just rushing 4 and playing cover 3. But if you watch the coach's tape, you could see on 3rd down, his pressure package was good. It was good, and it was surprising because I didn't see that from him in the past. And this year, I think he's gone way beyond that. Like, he's turned this defense into a man coverage defense. Where the hell did that come from? It's amazing. It's really cool.
Yep.
I mean, what are you seeing there in terms of the coverage? Because I think when I always pointed out during the offseason, like, hey, man, his pressure packages are really good. And you're like, yeah, but his coverages are so stale and predictable. So, I mean, what has he improved there?
Yeah, I don't really even see them as a cover 3 defense anymore, to be honest. They play cover 3 here and there, but this is not really just run out and play the Seattle scheme anymore. This is a totally different defense, and he deserves a ton of credit. I didn't want to criticize him this year just because I thought that there was no fair way to evaluate the guy now that there were way too many injuries. Like if it was just Bosa, then I would, and he was doing I think it would be a fair way to, well, now looking at the way they're playing through 6 weeks, the only thing you can evaluate is, wow, he's really, really, really good.
Yeah, he's really good. His game plans are good. I mean, he made Sean McVay look totally ordinary. There was nothing Sean McVay could go to. There was no gadget play, spark, anything. I mean, he had the throw late to Reynolds in the touchdown, which was in the end zone, which was, I mean, I don't know. Didn't seem like it was just kind of a bad play by Mosley. But really, Robert Saleh pitched a shutout last night. It was really nice. He's good. Yeah.
He is good.
He is good. So I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching job, if people look at him even more favorably. The way I see it is like Eric Bieniemy's got to go to Houston, right? I mean, how do you not bring the Kansas City offense to Houston and try to do the same thing with Watson, right?
Because you can't bring Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill with you.
True. I just think it's probably going to end up being an offensive coach.
Right. If I was Houston, I mean, Bill O'Brien was your previous coach, I would go with Brian Daboll.
Okay, yeah. Daboll, sure.
Something that's more comfortable for Deshaun Watson, but Bieniemy would be a great hire as well.
Yeah, either one. All right. Should we just talk about Verrett, like himself? Should we just talk about? I mean, that kind of goes in with Saleh.
Yeah.
I never gave this guy credit. I watched him in training camp. I was like, he's not going to make it through the season. No way. There's no way. And maybe he'll get hurt next week. And this is just a short story. But for right now, this is the best story on the team. This guy missed like 5 years, and now he's playing like the best football of his life, or he's picking up where he left off. This kind of changes the outlook of the season for the 49ers, because now a crippling weakness is almost a strength. I don't know. How good is he?
The last 3 games I've seen from Jason Verrett in man coverage might be the best 3 games I've seen from a cornerback since Carlos Rogers guarding in the slot in 2011.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and Carlos Rogers in 2011 had a monster pass rush.
Right.
Jason Verrett doesn't have that. Yeah.
Right. He's been outstanding. I mean, for him to even play these 3 games like this, it just, wow. Like, what an incredible human being he has to be. The level of perseverance, the level of toughness, how mentally strong he has to be, how much self-belief he needs to have. Like, I think him even playing is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Him playing at this level is just shocking. He's 1-1. He's 1-1. That's it.
Yeah, and what's so amazing is that the Chargers stuck with him for a long time. They really believed in him and liked him. They drafted him high. And their defensive coordinator is Gus Bradley, who is Robert Saleh's like mentor. And they must have talked, and like Gus must have told him, look, man, like for whatever reason, we can't keep him. But I love him. I'm telling you, sign this guy. He's perfect for you. He's professional. He's gonna come back. But for whatever reason, the front office here won't let me stick it out. So it was almost like I'm imagining Gus Bradley did the Niners a solid and said, I'm telling you, stick with them. So that's interesting. Also, what? Keep going.
Because the play on the field when he played was never a question mark. The only question mark the Niners would have had is, well, where is he at mentally, and does he have what it takes at this point? Because I don't think
physically
anybody has what it takes to come back from what he's come from and going through all the things he went through, especially when he was such a good player prior to that. And for him,
especially at cornerback, where you can't afford to lose any athleticism.
Right. Man. And then for him to come back prematurely last year and have Deontay Johnson do that to him last year.
I thought that was the end.
Right. The self-belief and confidence for him to once again bounce back, and the short memory he had to believe in himself in spite of coming back, and still believe that he had it physically and work even harder, and then to go through the hamstring injury to start off this year and then finally get his chance to play again and play at this level is unbelievable.
Also, I mean, I know Emmanuel Mosley gave the touchdown catch yesterday, but I think Mosley's a good player too. I mean, with the exception of that touchdown catch and the 3rd and 15 in the Super Bowl, he's been pretty much like solid and solid plus. I like him. I think he's a starter in the league. I don't know if he's a high-level starter, but he's definitely a starter.
Yeah.
So the question is, I don't know if Sherman's ever going to come back. Who knows? He's going to be a free agent next year. Maybe he feels like he should protect himself, especially if the Niners are going to move on anyway. But if Sherman does become healthy, is he one of the top 2 corners in this team right now?
Yes.
Okay.
He is.
You take him over Mosley? I guess.
Yeah, and it's for one reason and one reason only. Yeah, maybe he limits them schematically a little bit.
That's what I would say.
You've pointed that out a little bit, and that very well could be true. But Richard Sherman takes the ball away.
Yeah, he does. That's true.
When you take the ball away, you have value. And Richard Sherman takes the ball away 4 to 5 times a season. And Emmanuel Mosley hasn't proven that he's a guy that takes the ball away. So as long as Richard Sherman continues to take the ball away, he deserves to be the starting cornerback for the 49ers.
No argument. Good call. You're right. That's why I bring you on the show, man, because you gotta bring me back to earth. I get really excited. I'm like, you know what? Cut him. I like Emmanuel Mosley. And then I'm like, next thing, like, oh, maybe I jumped the gun on that one. Maybe should have listened to Vish.
Someone is saying Sherman at safety. I think, please, that's not how this works. Richard Sherman does not have the physical foot speed or quickness or agility to play safety in this defense. He is a cornerback. He's not going to ever play safety.